Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, chapter 7, new chapter. Indra offends his spiritual master, Brhaspati. Summary is there. As related in this chapter, Indra, the king of heaven, committed an offense at the feet of his spiritual master, Brhaspati. Brhaspati therefore left the demigod, who then had no priest. However, at the request of demigod Vishwarupa, the son of Brahmana Tvashta, became their priest. Once upon a time, Indra, the king of demigod, was sitting with his wife Sachidevi and being praised by various demigods like Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas. When Brhaspati, the spiritual master of the demigod, entered the assembly, Indra, being too absorbed in material opulence, forgot himself and did not respect Brhaspati, who thus became aware of Indra's pride in his material opulence and immediately disappeared from the assembly to teach him a lesson. Indra became most repentant, understanding that because of his opulence he had forgotten to respect his spiritual master. He left the palace to beg pardon from his spiritual master, but could not find Brhaspati anywhere. Because of his disrespectful behavior toward his spiritual master, Indra lost all his opulence and was conquered by the demon, who defeated the demigod in a great fight and occupied Indra's throne. King Indra, along with other demigods, later took shelter of Lord Brahma. Understanding the situation, Lord Brahma chastised the demigod for their offense to their spiritual master. Following Lord Brahma's order, the demigod accepted Vishwarupa, who was a Brahmana and the son of Tvashta, as their priest. Then they performed yajna under the priesthood of Vishwarupa and were able to conquer the demon. Text 1 to 11, there is no purport. I'll read for myself. 12 we'll chant together. Sri Raja Uvacha Kasya Eto Parityakta Acharena Suraha Etat Achakshava Bhagavan Chishyanam Akramam Guru. Translation. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, O great sage, why did spiritual master of the demigod Brhaspati reject the demigods who were his own disciples? What offense did the demigod commit against their spiritual master? Please describe to me this incident. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura comment, Saptame Guruna Tvakter Devair Daitya Parajitaha Vishwarupo Gurutvena Vrito Brahma Upadeshataha. The 7th chapter describes how he left them and the demigods were defeated, and how the demigod, following the instruction of Lord Brahma, accepted Vishwarupa as the priest to perform their sacrifice. Text 2 to 8. Sri Badarayani Indra Tribhuvaneshwarya Madol Angita Satpataha Marudbi Vasubi Rudray Aditya Rububi Nipa Vishwadeva Chasadya Cha Nasatyabhyam Parishrita Siddhacharana Gandharvai Munivi Brahmavadibhi Vidyadhara Apsara Bischa Kinara Patagoragai Nishevya Maghavan Stuya Manasacha Bharata Upagiyamano Lalitam Asta Nadhya Sanashrita Patrena Chandramandala Charunam Yukta Chanai Paramestyas Chamara Vajanadibihi Virajyamana Paulamya Sahardasanaya Brisham Sayada Paramacharyam Devanam Nabhayan Nandatas Sampraptam Pratyayushta Nasanadibhi Vachaspati Munivaram Sura Namaskritam Nocha cha lasanad Indra Pashyamapi Sabagatam. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, once upon a time the king of heaven Indra, being extremely proud because of his great opulence of the three worlds, transgressed the law of Vedic etiquette. Seated on his throne, he was surrounded by Maruts, Vasus, Rudras, Adityas, Ribhus, Vishwadevas, Sadhyas, Ashwini Kumaras, Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, and by the great saintly person. Also surrounding him were the Vidyadharas, Apsaras, Kinnaras, Patagas, birds, the Urugas, snakes. All of them were offering Indra their respect and services. And the Apsaras and Gandharvas were dancing and singing with sweet musical instruments. Over Indra's head was a white umbrella as effulgent as a full moon, fanned by yak-tail wish and served with all the paraphernalia of a great king. Indra was sitting with his wife Sachi Devi, who occupied half the throne. When the great sage Brhaspati appeared in that assembly, Brhaspati, the best of the sages, was the spiritual master of Indra and the demigod, and was respected by the demigods and the demons alike. Nevertheless, although Indra saw his spiritual master before him, he did not rise from his own seat or offer a seat to his spiritual master, nor did Indra offer him a respectful welcome. Indra did nothing to show him respect. Text 9. Tato nirgatya sahasa kavi angirasa prabhu ayayo swagraham tushnim vidwan sri mada vikiryam. Translation. Brhaspati knew everything that would happen in the future. Seeing Indra's transgression of etiquette, he completely understood that Indra was puffed up by his material opulence. Although able to curse Indra, he did not do so. Instead, he left the assembly and in silence returned to his home. Text 10. Tharyeva pratibudhendro guru elanamatmana garhayamasa sadasi swayam atmanamatmana. Translation. Indra, the king of heaven, could immediately understand his mistake. Realizing he had disrespected his spiritual master, he condemned himself in the presence of all the members of the assembly. Text 11. Aho bata mahasadu kritam vaidabra buddhina yan maya aishwaryamattena guru sadashi kat kritaha. Translation. Alas, what a regrettable deed I have committed because of my lack of intelligence and my pride in my material opulence. I failed to show respect to my spiritual master when he attended the assembly, and thus I have insulted him. Text 12, we'll repeat. Ko gradet pandito lakshmim tripishtapa paterapi yayamasuram bhavam nitodhya vibhudeshwaraha. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Although I am the king of demigods who are situated in the mode of goodness, I was proud of a little opulence and polluted by false ego. Under the circumstances, who in this world would accept such riches at the risk of falling down? Alas, I condemn my wealth and opulence. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Na danam, na janam, na sundarim kavitava jagdisha kame. O my Lord, I do not aspire for material opulence or wealth, nor do I want great number of followers to accept me as their leader, nor do I want a very beautiful wife to please me. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti ayatuki tvai. I do not even want liberation. All I want, life after life, is to be a faithful servant of your Lordship. According to the laws of nature, when one is extremely opulent, one becomes degraded, and this is true both individually and collectively. The demigods are situated in the mode of goodness, but sometimes even one who is situated in such an exalted position as King Indra, the king of all the demigods, falls down because of material opulence. We are now actually seeing this in America. The entire American nation has tried to advance in material opulence without striving to produce ideal human beings. The result is that Americans are now regretting the wholesale criminality of the American society and are wondering how America has become so lawless and unmanageable. As stated in the Bhagavatam 7.5.31, Nate viduhu swarthagatimi Vishnu. Persons who are unenlightened do not know the aim of life, which is to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, both individually and collectively, they try to enjoy so-called material comforts, and they become addicted to wine and women. The men produced in such a society are less than fourth class. They are unwanted population, known as Varna Shankara, and as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, an increase of Varna Shankara population creates a hellish society. This is the society in which Americans now find themselves. Fortunately, however, the Hare Krishna movement has come to America, and many fortunate young men are giving serious attention to this movement, which is creating ideal men of first class character, men who completely refrain from meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling. If the American people are serious about curbing the degraded criminal life of their nation, they must take to Krishna consciousness movement and try to create the kind of women's society advised in Bhagavad Gita. Chatur Varnyam Maya System Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Bhagavad Gita 4.13. They must divide their society into first class men, second class men, third class men, and fourth class men. Since they are now creating only one man who are less than fourth class, how can they avoid the dangers of criminal society? Long ago, Lord Indra regretted his disrespect to his spiritual master, Brhaspati. Similarly, it is advised that the American people regret their mistaken advancement in civilization. They should take advice from the spiritual master, the representative of Krishna. If they do so, they will be happy and they will be ideal nation to lead the entire world. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purport. Ko grade pandito lakshmim tripistapa paterapi yayaya masuram bhavam nitodya vibhudeshwara. Translation. Although I am the king of the demigods who are situated in the mode of goodness, I was proud of a little opulence and polluted by false ego. Under the circumstances, who in this world would accept such riches at the risk of falling down? Alas, I condemn my wealth and opulence. This is the new chapter today. We have begun. Indra offends Brhaspati. So in the previous chapter we saw the progeny of the daughters of Daksha, and in the last verse in the previous chapter, that same reference, it is in continuation of that, the chapter begins actually. Last verse, although Vishwarupa was the son of daughter of the eternal enemies of the demon, the demigod accepted him as the priest in accordance with the order of Brahma when they were abandoned by their spiritual master Brhaspati, whom they had disrespected. So, in the summary also, short summary, Prabhupada very nicely explained how Vishwarupa became the spiritual master of the demigod. because Indra didn't respect his spiritual master, Brhaspati, when he appeared there. He was sitting with his wife and he was served by all the other demigods, because Indra is the king of all the devatas, Indra Deva. So he was worshipped. So because of this opulence and actually disrespected. Actually in the Vedic scripture it is said, if some respectable personality, spiritual master, Brahmanas, Vaishnavas come in the assembly of a devotee, you should greet him, you should welcome him, you should even worship him. All these things are mentioned. So none of these things Indra did. And later on we saw how Indra is repenting. He has committed this mistake. And because of this, Indra, we come across in the Vedic literature, now and then Indra commits some mistake. Just like we all commit mistake, Indra also keep committing mistake. And whenever he commits mistake, they lose the heavenly kingdom and they go to their father, Brahmaji. Brahma gives some solution. With that, the problem is solved. Again, they come victorious. So this keeps on happening again and again we read. So, in the last verse, which we chatted as a purport, it said, although I am the king of the demigod who are situated in the mode of goodness, I was proud of little opulence and polluted by false ego. So Prabhupada begins this purport quoting Chaitanya Charita from the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sishtashtaka, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavita va jagad. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I don't want any wealth, opulence, na dhanam, na janam, I don't want any followers. A lot of people are your followers, your leader, people come and respect you, worship you. He says, I don't want this. I don't want any beautiful wife to serve me. What I want, I don't even want liberation. Mama janmani janmani ishware bhavata bhakti ayatuki tvai. That's why Prabhupada writes, all I want, life after life, is to be the faithful servant of your Lordship. Because that is our real position. If we don't accept the Supreme Lord, in that position, we'll fall down. Immediately Prabhupada writes, according to the laws of nature, when one is extremely opulent, one becomes degraded, and this is true both individually and collectively. See what happens when you have a lot of wealth, a lot of opulence? You will have head weight. You will have, already we are in false ego, we are in this material world. So, it increases our head weight and our ego. And we lose our rear bearing. We are all servant of Lord. Eternally we are all Jivere Swarupoi Nityara Krishna Das. Eternally we are a servant of God, but we forget this. Particularly when we are with a lot of opulence and wealth. That's why even the Brahmanas, they always live in an impoverished condition. Prabhupada explained, even a Brahmana gets a lot of sometimes donation and all like that. He will not keep anything for him. He will just distribute again. He will not keep. He will not be in touch with this. Because they may lose the ultimate goal of life. Then Prabhupada goes to say, here, the demigods are situated in the mode of goodness, but sometimes even one who is situated in such an exalted position as Krishna, as King Indra, the king of all the demigods, falls down because of material opulence. So like this, respecting a spiritual master, respecting a Vaishnava is very, very important in our Vaishnava behavior also. That's why whenever we come to temple, when we come for darshan, the moment we come to temple, we have to pay obeisances to our spiritual master, Prabhupada, and to deities. These are all very important actually. So, like this, we have many instances in the scripture. In the 10th canto, 23rd chapter, we know, we have read in the Krishna book also, about Roma Arshana Sutta. When he was sitting on the Brahma Asana, when the sages of Naimisharanya was performing a huge sacrifice, long sacrifice. So, Lord Balarama, we all know Balaram did not want to participate in the Kurukshetra war because he was very attached to Yudhishthira also, Duryodhana also. So he took up the excuse, he started visiting places of pilgrimage. So he comes to Naimisharanya. There, when he comes, actually, Romarshana Sutta, who Prabhupada explained in those purport also, he was not actually, he was a mix, he was not a high-class Brahmana like that. Because his father and mother, they are all different caste. So he was a mixed birth like that. So Romarshana Sutta also didn't bother about Lord Balarama. Whereas all the Brahmana sages who were sitting there, they got up. They welcomed Lord Balaram. They worshipped him. But he was a little proud. He was sitting, actually these Brahmana sages, they gave him the chance to sit in that Brahma Asana, Prabhupada, right? Brahma Asana, that is. So he got puffed up. Then we know how Lord Balarama, Lord Krishna, Lord Balarama, they all descend, they come, take avatar in this world to teach the basic religious principle. So immediately what Lord Balarama does, he takes a straw, he takes a kusha grass, and just with the tip of the kusha grass, he touches Romarshana Sutta, and he is dead and gone. So this is the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada explained. So somebody may be wondering, how with a small blade of grass you can kill? Lord can do anything actually. He is omnipotent. He is transcendental. So he can do anything. So then the Brahmanas requested, because the yajna is going on, and you have killed. He was a sort of Brahmana, the Romarshana Sutta. So they said, no, you are committed. So first they respected Brahmanas and sages, they respected Balaram, they worshipped. Then when Romarshana Sutta was killed, the Brahmanas and sages suggested, you should do some prayachita, you should go to some place of pilgrimage. Like that actually in this pastime it is mentioned. So, because he was dead and gone, so yajna has to go. How it will happen? So it is said in those purport also that the son of a person, son of Roma or son of Sutta, was appointed to be seated on the platform, and the yajna continued. And Balaram is glorified there also because there was one demon particularly who was disturbing, when the devatas, they do havan, always there are some disturbance from the demons, correct? They come and make that arena of the sacrifice impure by passing urine, and all these things are mentioned in the scriptures. So, these sages, they glorified Lord Balaram to first, you can easily kill this demon. So Balaram killed that demon also, then installed his son in that asana, and he went to other places of pilgrimage. So, like this, this has to be taught by Lord Balarama, Lord Krishna only. Similarly, we know when Lord Krishna received Sudama, again in Dwaraka, so he was with his queen, Rukmini. But when he saw immediately Sudama, he got up from his seat, he went and worshipped Sudama, he washed his feet. All these things are mentioned in the scriptures. Because they have to teach whatever yadad acharati seshta tatat evetaro jana. And the principle is brought out in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna also. Whatever a great man does, common man will follow. Whatever standard he sets, all the world will pursue. So this is one important principle. So Krishna also taught us how to respect a Brahmana, how to respect a Vaishnava. Also, there is one more instance wherein Krishna was sitting with his ministers in the assembly. Suddenly Narada Muni comes. Narada Muni keeps going here and there, correct? So Narada Muni comes. And immediately Narada Muni, Krishna, along with the minister, they all start worshipping and offering respect to Narada Muni. Though Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narada also knows Krishna is the Supreme, but is because he is a advanced Vaishnava, he is actually a guru. So Lord also respect all these things. So this is the important principle. Then Prabhupada draws this comparison of this, how Indra, because of his opulence and pride, he lost his kingdom. Similarly, Prabhupada in the purport, he brings out, and we are now actually seeing this in America, because Prabhupada was writing this purport maybe 55, 60 years before. So that was not happening, because America today also is very advanced. So Prabhupada is writing here, the entire American nation has tried to advance in material opulence without striving to produce ideal human being. So otherwise, like Prabhupada further, he goes to say, these are all Varna Shankaras. So these hippies, when Prabhupada first went and preached to the youngsters, most of them were coming from the hippie. They were all hippies actually. So hippies are all actually Varna Shankara, Prabhupada explains actually. So, because the result, the Americans are now regretting the wholesale criminality in the American society and are wondering how America has become so lawless and unmanageable. So, if you are not God conscious, if you are not Krishna conscious, actually you get into all sort of this trouble. And you commit crime. Today also, if you see, invariably it happens. Even in the schools, actually the boys, young boys and girls, they go with a gun actually. And sometimes they shoot their students. So it's like that. They don't have proper culture. So, then Prabhupada writes here, as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Nathe Vidu Swartakatim. Persons who are unenlightened do not know the aim of life, which is to go back home, back to God. So, particularly in the human form of life, we should be enlightened. How we get that enlightenment? By reading the scriptures. Reading particularly Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all the Vedic literature. When we read, we'll get enlightened. Otherwise, we are all born in darkness. Correct? And human life, human form of life is meant for understanding the ultimate aim of life, which is to go back home, back to God. So, we all are also conversant with Prabhupada's conversation with a head of a police in Chicago in US during Prabhupada times, that, all the country, all the state, they spend a lot of money on this police department and defense and all this. These are all very important, correct? But in spite of increasing the budget, in spite of spending more, the crime level is also increasing more. This is always bothering the head of the police, and you take defense and all. Because we have to change the mentality of the people. Otherwise, it is not going to help you. That's why when Prabhupada was having conversation with him, so Prabhupada used to say that Prabhupada had a strong conviction in the chanting of the Lord's name, in Sankirtana, in distribution of prasadam. So Prabhupada says, only solution to get away from this crime, or at least bring the crime level to bring it to a lower level, is to have a mass Sankirtan. Prabhupada is telling that police chief in US. See? Because just like we all know, a thief is caught. If he is proved to be a criminal, he is put inside the bar. He is there for a while. He is given a lot of punishment. The moment he comes out, what he does again? He is again going to commit the theft. Because that is his nature. He has to be, so it has to be rectified. In fact, it is the whole reformation process is, when they go to jail, they get a lot of hardship. But not that many of them will come out, they will not change like that. Again, they commit the same thing. Because their heart, their mind, their consciousness is full of dirty things. So, all these dirty things can be wiped, cleared by the process of Sankirtana, by the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So then Prabhupada develops the same idea on this, how, because America was so advanced 55 years before. And when any people go there, you see a lot of building, these roads are good, everything is nice actually. But only one thing is missing, is that God consciousness, and which is very, very important. So that's why Prabhupada, when he was giving lectures in big university in the West, he used to say, your advancement is all fine, but your civilization is a misdirected civilization. See, today we are also looking for the same thing. We should have big industry, big buildings, all these things, correct? All these things are fine. But you miss out the important element, then it's not really going to help. Then Prabhupada, so this crime, this all happens. In the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Bhogaishwarya prashaktana tayapata sasetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhavana vidiyate. That is, Bhoga and Aishwarya, material enjoyment and material opulence. Bhogaishwarya, those who are too attached to this. Nicely Prabhupada translate, correct? In the Bhagavad Gita 2.44. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things. See, generally there is some attachment is there. We are in this material world, there is attachment. And who are bewildered by such, we should not be bewildered. The resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So, Vyavasayatmika buddhi, that intelligent, will not come actually. That's why the determination will not come. If you are so attached to material opulence and material opulence and material enjoyment. That's why we have been taught to take up some, we have taken this process, some renunciation, some detachment, some austerity. All these things we have to do actually. Otherwise, the determination will not come. And determination, Prabhupada says, more than knowledge and all this information, determination is very important in spiritual life. And without determination, it's very difficult. That's why in that small story which Prabhupada tells, he's telling about Rajaputra Chiram Jiva. Because the prince, Rajaputra, son of a king, Chiranjiva, he should live forever. Because when he is living, he has got lot of opulence. He'll engage in lot of sense gratification act. So he'll get result for this. He has to suffer for this. That's why he says, Chiranjiva, you always live long. So that, because the moment he leaves this body, we are put in different situation. It's all based on whatever activities we are doing now. So, we may be opulent, we may be having a lot of following, a lot of people may be adoring you, worshipping you. Prabhupada always gave the example of President Kennedy also. American president, very powerful he was, very young, very charismatic leader, lot of following, young wife, children he had. Just he was going for addressing a public meeting, he was shot dead. So within a moment, everything is finished. That is the nature of this material world. So we should be guided by these instructions which is given in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Just I take 1 or 2 minutes. Finally, Prabhupada concludes the purport. He says, fortunately, however, the Hare Krishna movement has come to America, and many fortunate young men are giving serious attention to this movement, which is creating ideal men of first-class character. So, men who completely refrain from meat-eating, intoxication, illicit sex and gambling. So, this is the basis of our spiritual life. So, if we follow this 4 regulative principles, and if we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, following all those instructions, actually we will get purified. And human form of life is meant only for purification, not for amassing a lot of opulence or wealth or getting name, fame. Something come on its own, let it come. We should not be like that. We should not be bewildered by all these things. So this is very important. So then Prabhupada he ends the purport. Similarly, Prabhupada is comparing Indra's lifestyle with the American lifestyle because they are living like that only royally. So Prabhupada concludes that in the purport, similarly it is advised that the American people regret their mistaken advancement in civilization. They should take advice from the spiritual master, the representative of Krishna. If they do so, they will be happy and theirs will be the ideal nation to lead the entire world. So, you see, Prabhupada went to America and because he wanted to give this philosophy of Krishna consciousness to the most opulent country. That was the Prabhupada's vision was like this, and he achieved this. Correct? So, we should also be very careful when, as a devotee, we may be dealing with so many things, correct? Money, finance, opulence, sometimes name, respect and all you get. But we should be grounded with our spiritual principles. Otherwise, we can also lose our goal, ultimate goal in life actually. So these are the few things. I'll stop here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.